I'm going to show you what it's like to game on this premium wireless controller that costs $200. But before I do that, I'm going to show you this wired one that costs $25. So what kind of controller can you even get for just $25? For the most part, you're not going to have many options in the wireless department. A quick search on Amazon will bring up a few wired options though. The one I'm testing out is the PowerA wired controller for Xbox Series X and S and Windows. It looks like a standard Xbox One controller. Put the two side by side and it's really easy to see where they got their design inspiration from. And it's a smart move because the Xbox One controller is legendary in terms of ergonomics and comfort. It's got the same buttons and the same controls, all in the same layout as the Xbox One controller, and it does come with a headphone jack, which is nice. So the first thing I noticed with this controller is it's not so premium feel in the hand. It kind of feels hollow, like there's not much to it. It's really light, coming in around 190 grams, and that's way lighter than other wired and wireless controllers that I'm used to. I think that lightweight's kind of what's leading to the cheaper overall feel. I tend to think that things that are heavier are a little bit higher quality. Maybe that's just me. Overall, it's not too bad though, because it's a strong build. There's no flex or movement if I squeeze it, and all the joints look pretty tight for the most part. The buttons on here are where I'm noticing a pretty big difference compared to higher end controllers. They're mushy feeling, especially the D-pad. ABXY is a little stiff and the travel of each button seems fairly long, but there is a nice tactile bump right at the top of the stroke, so it's really easy to tell when you're about to register a press. The triggers and bumpers have a sort of hollow sound and feel, and they're loud. They make a lot of noise. Feels like they're made of pretty thin plastic and they don't have the most satisfying press. And don't think you're getting any adjustability on these triggers. At this price point, it's just a single throw trigger, similar to what you'll see on a standard Xbox One controller. And also much like an Xbox One controller, there's no back paddles or extra buttons. Now for the most important part, the thumbsticks. What can we say about the thumbsticks on a $25 controller? Well, they're noisy, just like the bumpers and triggers. They have that same sort of hollow sound. The resistance is pretty high, which I guess can be a good or bad thing depending on your preference. They snap back to their neutral position really quick, and I like that because it makes them feel really quick and responsive. Performance-wise, they're outputting an average error over 11% on the left stick and 14% on the right. Not exactly a stellar result, but also not unreasonable for analog potentiometer type sticks. Now in this test, you can see both sticks seem to have some trouble returning to the center neutral zone. There's some error right there out of the box, and it's probably only going to get worse over time as the sticks are subject to wear and tear. It's nice to have built-in vibration feedback, but this one doesn't really work the best. It feels too aggressive and it's noisy. I prefer controller vibration to be a little more subtle and on the quiet side, and this is not that. Despite the not so perfect performance overall, I was still able to have a good gameplay experience. And that's probably because I don't game at anything near a professional esports level. For regular everyday casual gaming, there's really nothing holding me back. If you gave me this controller and said I have to use it and there's no other option to get anything else, I'd be perfectly fine grinding through my weekend gaming sessions with it. But the question is, what can the $200 controller do that this one can't? Let's find out. This is the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra. The second you get this one in your hands, you can tell it's not just a step up from the other one, it's like a whole flight of stairs up from it. It's got about 25% more weight to it, coming in around 250 grams. That's still on the lighter side for my preference, but it does help it feel a little bit more substantial in the hand, and I like that. The build quality is no doubt more premium on here. Very solid feel, tight joints, nothing loose or wobbly, and we also get some nice soft textures on the sides to help enhance grip. There's a lot more to say about the buttons and thumbsticks on this one. Let's start with the D-pad. This thing's made of brushed aluminum and it feels just as good as it looks. It's powered by tactile micro switches. They give this very crisp and tactile feel with a sharp clicky sound. It's pretty loud, but it's a nice clean sound, way better than what we heard on the cheap controller. The ABXY cluster is equipped with the same tactile micro switches as the D-pad. So again, we have that crisp and tactile feel with the clicky sound. The actuation point's right at the top of the stroke and the travel distance is on the shorter side, so that makes everything feel really fast and responsive. Bumpers are also powered by the tactile micro switches, so there's even more of that tactile clicky goodness back here. They have a little bit of post travel, which creates a mushy feeling press as opposed to a solid hard stop. Triggers are smooth and quiet, and they're adjustable. So you can set the throw to a very short position for quick firing and shooting games, or drag it way out to the full length when you need more fine control over stuff like the throttle in a racing game. That's a level of versatility you're just not going to see on cheaper controllers, and it's really nice to have. You also get 4 programmable back buttons. These open up some more options to customize the controller to your own gaming style, and yep, you guessed it, these buttons are also running the tactile micro switches. Now over to the thumbsticks. These are not your typical controller sticks. They use Hall effect actuators to track inputs. These types of sticks don't use any contact parts, so that means stick drift due to wear and tear over time shouldn't be much of an issue on here. Hall effect stick technology is a major improvement over traditional analog inputs. These things start registering inputs insanely quick, and they have no problem bouncing right back to their neutral position in the center. The circularity test shows an average error of just 1.4%, a night and day difference compared to the cheaper controller. Gaming with a controller like this is an awesome experience. I don't feel like I'm any better with it compared to the cheaper one. Again, I'm just a casual gamer though, but it does just feel better to play with overall. It's more comfortable in the hands, it has better feeling and better sounding buttons, the triggers are adjustable, it's got back buttons, the vibration's better, and it's wireless. And all that stuff just makes it more fun to play with. One of the main features on this one is its 1.5-inch command screen. This thing lets you take control of your settings right on the controller. You can do stuff like remap buttons, set dead zones, switch between up to 10 onboard profiles, and that's awesome because you can configure different settings for your favorite games and then quickly switch between them. If you plug a headset into the 3.5mm jack, you can get some audio controls, including volume, chat mix, and mic mute. You can go in and change the intensity of the vibration motors, get those things customized the way you like to feel it, and there's actually lots more. It's a pretty cool setup. Being a wireless controller, you're gonna have to charge it up from time to time, and that's actually super easy because it comes with this little charging dock. It's awesome because you don't have to worry about plugging a cable in all the time. When you finish gaming, you just drop it back on the dock and it's ready to go the next time you pick it up. And that's not even everything packed into here. It also has some RGB lighting. And for me, that's just the icing on the cake. It takes the already killer look and adds in a bit of futuristic styling. So at the end of the day, are premium controllers like this actually worth it? Or should you just save some money and pick up something like this for like $25? There's no question about it. The more expensive controller offers way more in terms of technology, features, and performance. But what you need to ask yourself is whether or not those extra features that come with the more expensive option are gonna elevate your gaming experience. For most people, all you casual gamers out there, you'll probably be fine with either one. It's not until you compete at the upper tier skill levels that quicker triggers, responsive buttons, and hyper accurate sticks are gonna make any real difference. If you got the cash, you really can't go wrong with a premium controller. It's gonna do everything that a cheap one can do, plus a lot more. But if you're on a tight budget, don't feel like you can't have a good gaming experience with an affordable option like the one I showed you in this video. I have some purchasing links for you down in the description of this video. Make sure you check those out if you're interested in picking up a new controller. Get subscribed, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you soon.